Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, November 24th. Friendly reminder, the markets are closed on Thursday for Thanksgiving. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see over here will still be moving around and changing. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. Stock number one, ticker symbol MRAI. Big mover today, and yeah, there's been a bit of a pullback here, but within that pullback, it's actually created a nice pattern. So let's get this mapped out here. So first part of the pattern talk about is the area of support, which seems to be sitting down here right around $2.07. And the next part of this pattern is more so a trend line portion of it, sitting right there at that level. And then to maybe make it easier to see, let's keep it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the nice upwards move here. A few golfers out there try to make it a little bit more visual, but a golf hole down here, this would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, while nothing is guaranteed, my point here is it plausible? Is it valid that if the price comes off the bottom of the pattern, gets up to that area and then breaks up through, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure, even if you just want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy? In my mind, that is a more than reasonable type situation. So if you like stocks down below $5, you like bull pennant patterns, keep an eye on it. Next one, ticker symbol AGIL. And again, nice mover here this morning, got the gap up, nice opening 30 minutes right there. And then yes, the price did pull back, but in pulling back, gave us a nice little sign here, and that sign being at least it didn't completely crash back down to where it was. It found some buyers right there at 15 cents. And I make that comment because if you've traded for a while, then I'm sure you've seen stocks that gap up, and then they pull back, and then they just keep going. They drift right back into oblivion. So good to see that this thing leveled out here, and it's actually now starting to show some signs of strength back to the upside. Now, does that guarantee anything? Of course not, but it makes it a whole lot more plausible to say that, okay, this pullback is over, the price is leveled out, it's starting to head back upwards, so maybe on Friday it can get another nice surge of momentum back to the upside. And if that does occur, the next main area of resistance is going to be right up here around that area at the 22 cent mark. So keep an eye on that. And with a break at 22 cents, especially if it's a high volume break, I'm not saying it'll happen within a couple minutes, or of course, not saying it'll happen at all. But I like the odds. Again, high volume break of 22 cents as the price at least gets up to retest those highs, if not even go, higher than that. But overall, nice movement today. Got a nice pullback. So right now, just some good solid consolidation. So we'll see what happens with it on Friday. Next one here, NVDA had earnings and price all over the place today. The opening 30 minutes, just absolutely bonkers how crazy that one was. But things are trying to consolidate out. But taking a step back and looking at things from a bigger picture point of view, the price has found some, support down in, historic levels, especially right down here around $480.75, give or take a little bit. But going back through the history of things, you can see found some support right there. Found some support right there. And then once again, yes, there was that point that, a fake breakdown of that level. But after that, you can see acted as support. So that's where that line is coming from as I zoom back in. Just want to give a little more context to that. And you can see right there the price had bounced off it several times. So moving forward, 480.75 remains a very interesting dynamic. And while nothing's guaranteed, if the price comes down there, I would not call you crazy at all to think, hey, you know what? Maybe this thing bounces from that level, given that it's happened several times before. Now, in terms of areas of resistance, main level to watch now moving forward, all about that purple line there. The 50-period moving average with the price now below it. Didn't hit it exactly, but definitely got within the general range of it right there before getting rejected back down. So you're going to want to keep a close eye on that if there is any sort of move back to the upside. And then maybe for you trend line people that just like to throw in overall trend lines to me. There we go. I think that's an interesting trend line, give or take somewhere right around there to just illustrate that, yeah, as of right now, these highs are getting lower and lower, which is not the greatest, thing to see. But that is still a relatively short-term perspective because from the bigger picture, you can see the trend is still very much so in the bullish direction. Next one here, ticker symbol SHOT, and very, very brutal day on this one. Talked about it in yesterday's video on how the trend was doing great, but today it definitely pulled back a whole lot more. Now, am I going to call it an entire reversal and call the entire chart destroyed? I would not go that far because Yes, today was rough, but you got to still acknowledge the fact that the price is still nicely up above that pink line right there, which has an upward slope to it. That pink line being the very well-known, very famous 200 period moving average. So yes, today very rough, but did it destroy the entire chart? It did not. Granted, that's all a lot of perspective too. If you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there, or maybe you bought this morning right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, well then yes, from that perspective, the chart looks really, really bad. But I'm making those comments from more so the bigger picture point of view. So yes, moving forward, if the price does roll back over, then I would definitely call the 200 period moving average down here a must hold area. If the price does try to head back up, main area right there is initially going to be that purple line there, the 50 period moving average, which we've already talked about. And the next level is this former area of support, which is basic rules and charting. When levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So right up there to right around 470. But before you put too much emphasis on 470, the price first needs to break back above that purple line. Next one here, AMC, and a very, very nice bounce here today. Considering how much this thing had been getting beat down, got to give credit where credit's due. Very nice bounce. Is this the start of something bigger? Is there any sort of genuine strength behind this bounce? I have no idea, but answering that question becomes very straightforward when we use charts and can agree on the fact that price movements with genuine power, so bounces that are truly strong bounces, are going to make progress forward. Nothing can go straight up, but they're at least going to show signs of progress, which leads into the question of, okay, Clay, but you're just saying show signs of progress. Those are just words. You're right. And that's why I love charts, because they allow you to take words and make them very visual. So when I say show signs of progress, I mean stay up above $6.75, because if the price were to come down here, behave like that, and then curl back upwards, what would you have in that situation? Well, you'd have a set of lows right here. You'd have lows right there. And if you envision each of those as stair steps, well, now you'd have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. So is this bounce truly strong? It's got to show signs of progress. And the sign of progress, again, being able to stay up above 675. So we'll see what happens. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, ticker symbol TSLA, Tesla, and going into today had a nice pattern here, nice wedge, but just a nasty 30 minutes. Price broke out of the pattern, and then within that same 30 minutes, not only came back down within the pattern, not only went to the bottom of the pattern, but just completely exploded to the downside of the pattern. So brutal, nasty day here from that angle of things. So I'll get rid of that. Now on the flip side, and on the bright note, the price does really seem to be now respecting right here around the $231 mark. Let me bring this. There we go. Going through the history of things, you can see right there, acted as support, and then never hit it exactly today, but very close right there, support, and support. So if the price does come down there, like I said in a previous one, would I call you crazy to think that the price could go down there and bounce again? I would not call you crazy at all, given the big track record. That doesn't mean that it'll happen, but I would not say that that's just some sort of random area on the chart. So more of the story there, 231 going to be an important level of support. If that level doesn't quite hold up, then a much more important level is going to be that pink line down there, which you now know is that 200 period moving average. In regards to areas of resistance, once again, kind of been a common theme here. Keep an eye on that purple line there, 50 period moving average. You can see that after the price fell below it, it went right into acting as resistance right there. So if there is any sort of attempted bounce back upwards, you're definitely going to want to keep a close eye on that area right there. But yeah, no doubt about it. Rough day for Tesla, but at least that 231 area was able to hold strong. Next one here, ticker symbol AMD. Nice mover today, and in my opinion, just an even nicer pattern, because for a couple reasons. The pattern's very nice, but what you get to do with AMD is it's just such a popular stock that you got to think that there's just that many more eyeballs watching it. And when you have lots of eyeballs watching the same areas, it becomes that much more valid to think there could be a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you got to think a lot of people have noticed this area right here at 123.75 as that main area of resistance. You can see the prices come up there several times and not broken it, but been rejected from it. So as I've said, I'll probably say another dozen times, there are no guarantees, but is it reasonable? Is it plausible that if the price can come up here and break up through that level, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure for AMD? Absolutely. Well-defined level on a very popular stock. Guarantees nothing, but makes it that much more reasonable. And really, to me, that's as simple and straightforward for AMD. Just such a nice defined level. So let's see if the price can break above it and then cause some self-fulfilling prophecies. Next one here, PLTR, and did this one yesterday, and once again, doing it as the kind of craziness continues, especially with that opening 30 minutes. But to give credit where credit's due, when all the dust had settled, not only did this area of support down here at 1930 hold, which essentially got hit right there during that opening 30 minutes, but the price was able to bounce back above and then stay above this other area right up here at $19.60. So both areas of support held strong, and now you're getting the third dynamic, which makes this all the more interesting. And that third dynamic right there is that pink line, which you now know is that 200 period moving average. So there's just that many more supports now getting kind of thrown into this area of the chart. Does not mean that this area of the chart will hold, but it does mean that if the bears are going to actually press down through it, they better bring their A game, because there is going to be, you got to think, a lot of buying pressure that's going to be built up around this area of the chart. So definitely keep an eye on that if you like to try to play bounces and stuff like that. If there is any sort of bounce, well then, yeah, you guessed it. Once again, that purple line 50 paired moving average is going to be the key area of resistance. You can see right there, acted as resistance, right there, acted as resistance. So if the price goes back up there again, doesn't mean that it can't break through, but it does mean that it's plausible to think that it once again could present some areas of problem for the bulls. But all in all, good to see that the price held above those areas of support today, and we'll see if it can get a bounce on Friday. Next one, ticker symbol MARA. Very nice mover today, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched past videos, but if you have, hopefully remember me talking about the resistance level right there at 1070, and you can see right there on that 30-minute candle, price came up there, broke through it. Couple pullbacks, but a classic example now of that area of resistance acting as support. So on that note, let me change this from red to green, and you can see that's exactly what happened right there. And I'll go ahead and get rid of this level down there. But moving forward, 1070-ish would be definitely the ideal level of support when you say, Clay, you know, what would make this chart look the best? Certainly if the price can stay above there. If the price does not, it's not the end of the world, because from more of a bigger picture standpoint, you have that purple line right there, the 50 period moving average, which has been doing a good job of holding that support, including today. You can see right there, once again, went into acting as support. But like I said, in my opinion, the most interesting dynamic is all about the breakout has happened. Now we just get to ask that always exciting question, breakout has happened. Is this the start of something even bigger? Let's see how it all continues to play out. Next one here, ticker symbol TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. Biggest difference here is that it just allows you access at a much lower price point. So wild day today, but ultimately did make some progress, put in some higher highs and higher lows. The first bit of progress was it got back above this area of resistance at 44. And as you now know, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And that's exactly what happened a couple of times today. You can see right there, I mean, classic example right there. Acted as support, and then didn't hit exactly, but pretty close, acted as support. And then you also notice here that you have that purple line, 50 period moving average, getting very, very close, which has been acting as support, and ideally you want to see it continue to do so. In terms of areas of resistance, yeah, you have that level up there at 45.60, but that's kind of irrelevant right now, because in my opinion, the more relevant level of resistance is going to be that trend line right there. And let me just change up the look of it just... There we go, because I think that's going to be more so the first key level before you start putting too much emphasis up there on 45.60. So yes, you have this little wedge here that is formed, bottom part, and then the top part of it right here. Maybe bullpen. Nah, I'm probably trying to fit a square peg through a round hole, but you know, regardless of whatever you want to call it, the fact of the matter remains you have a nicely defined trend line, you have a nicely defined area of support, not just a question of who's ultimately going to win out. Do the bulls win out to the upside? Do the bears win out to the downside? But Friday's going to be very interesting. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more, definitely get signed up for that free class. It'll be Thursday, November 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there as far as these top 10 videos are concerned. If you enjoy these, if you would like for me to continue to make them, please do a couple things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment, even if it's just say hi or thanks. Tell me what you traded today. Give me your watch list for tomorrow. But those two things really help out the channel and help out these videos. So again, go get signed up for that free training. Hit that like button, leave a comment below, and everybody have a very happy Thanksgiving.